The throne room of King Vorton was massive. The walls were made of black crystal, glowing softly with red light. Alien guards stood tall and silent, wearing heavy armor. The king sat on a throne made of bones from many species. Some still had bloodstains on them. Everyone was waiting. Then the doors opened. A single human stepped inside. No armor, no weapons, just a simple black uniform with a small earth symbol on the chest. Whispers filled the room. "Is that it?" "That's the human Envoy. They sent only one." The king leaned forward and smiled. His teeth were sharp, yellow, and stained. He looked at the human like a hunter looks at weak prey. "You may speak, Earthling," the king said with a voice like thunder. "Let's hear your desperate little warning." The human, named Elias Fan, didn't flinch. He walked slowly toward the throne. He stopped 10 steps away and stood straight. "We came in peace," Elias said calmly, "but peace requires respect." The king laughed loudly. The sound echoed across the hall. "Respect from me?" he barked. "You are not warriors. You are not even real threats. You are just interesting pets." The guards laughed too. Elias stayed quiet. His eyes did not move. "We warned you before," he said. "Don't interfere with Earth's colonies. Don't attack our ships. Don't cross the line." The king stood from his throne. His long cape flowed behind him. He walked down the steps slowly, eyes locked on the human. "And if I do?" the king asked with a grin. "What will your little planet do? Cry? Send more messages? Send more envoys?" He came close, too close. The alien guards raised their weapons. "Silence him," the king ordered. One guard stepped forward, lifting a blade. Still, Elias didn't move. He simply spoke again, but this time his voice was cold. "You just made the worst mistake of your life," he said. "You woke her up." The blade froze in midair. The alien guard hesitated. "Who?" the king asked, confused. Elias looked up. His eyes were calm, deadly calm. "Baba Yaga." For the first time, the king looked uncertain. "That is a myth," he said, voice shaky. "No," Elias replied. "It's a secret. A weapon buried so deep even Earth fears it. But when our diplomats are attacked, when our people are insulted, the locks break. The protocols begin." Suddenly, across the galaxy, on a lonely space station orbiting Neptune, a screen blinked. Yaga protocol activated. Sleep emoji exciting. TAR GT Royal Order. Italian Empire designation. VORTANDYNST. The machine began to wake. It was not alive, but it remembered war. It remembered death. And it remembered why it was created. Back in the throne room, the king's smile was gone. "Is this a threat, human?" he asked. "No," Elias said. "This is your last warning." The king roared in anger and pointed to the guards. "Kill him." But before the guards could move, a bright light filled the room. A hologram appeared above Elias. It showed a black ship, no markings, no windows, just darkness. It hovered in space, silent and cold. The alien techs panicked. "Something just entered orbit," one shouted. "We don't know what it is. It's not in any record." Another cried, "It shut down our satellites. It's jamming our systems." The king stared at the image. His voice was almost a whisper. "What is that?" Elias turned his head slightly. "That," he said, "is Baba Yaga." The room fell silent. Even the guards stepped back. "I suggest you return to your throne," Elias added, "because the next time you stand, it may be in front of your gods." He turned and walked out. No one stopped him. Far above in space, the black ship moved slowly. Not fast, not loud, but every alien sensor watching it went dark. Across the empire, fear began to spread. Generals whispered. Scientists ran tests, no answers. And the king, once proud and loud, sat back on his throne. Quiet. Something had begun. Something they were not ready for. In deep space far from Earth, a forgotten station floated near Neptune. It was old, quiet, and cold. No humans lived there. No ships visited it. Most people didn't even know it still existed. Inside the station, something had changed. A signal flashed, lights blinked. Warning sounds echoed through the empty halls. Yaga protocol active. Sleep mode ending. Primary TAR GT Royal Order ISSUED against Earth diplomats. Heavy doors unlocked slowly with a loud hiss. Behind those doors sat a dark machine, covered in metal plates and strange markings. It looked like a ship, but it was more than that. It was a machine of war, created for one reason only, to destroy threats. For 300 years, it had slept. Now, it opened its eyes. Long ago, during Earth's worst war, humans built something terrifying. They called it Baba Yaga, not after a woman, but after a legend, a ghost, a nightmare. This machine was not smart like a human, but it had a brain. It could learn, it could adapt, and worst of all, it remembered. Earth had used it only once. In that one mission, 3 star systems vanished. Entire fleets were turned to ash. After that, Earth's leaders became afraid of their own creation. So they shut it down, locked it away, and they made a rule: never activate Baba Yaga unless Earth faces total destruction. But now the protocol had been triggered. Inside the machine, systems came online. Weapons loaded, engines powered up. A deep voice echoed inside the ship. Add core online, memory file check. Complete. Target identified. Empire of Vorten. Tactical plan. Eliminate Royal Command. Disable all defense systems. Spread fear. The machine had no emotions, but it remembered fear. It knew how to create it. That was part of its design. In Earth's control center, high above the planet, alarms rang. Admiral Riza, an old military leader, stared at the screen. "Who gave the command?" he asked. "No one, sir," replied a young officer. "It was automatic. The King of Vorten ordered the execution of our envoy. The system read it as a royal-level threat." Riza went pale. "Then we cannot stop it now." The officer nodded slowly. "Sir, Baba Yaga is awake." Across the galaxy, ships began to vanish. It started small, one patrol, then a scout fleet, then a whole station near the edge of the Vorten Empire. The enemy tried to respond. They sent fighters. They sent cruisers, but none came back. In the Empire's capital, panic spread. "The enemy hasn't spoken," said General Cram. "There's no message, no demand, only attacks." "But who is attacking?" asked another officer. Then a quiet voice answered from the shadows. "It's Baba Yaga," said Lord Telvis, the Empire's oldest historian. His face was pale. His hands shook. The others stared. "That name is not in any of our databases," said one commander. "It wouldn't be," Telvis replied. "It was erased long ago, but I've seen it, in old war records from before the Empire." "What is it?" the general asked. Telvis looked around and whispered, "It's the reason Earth never needed big fleets. It's the reason they smiled during peace talks." Back in space, the dark ship continued its path. It didn't move fast. It didn't make noise. But wherever it went, systems died. Lights went out. Soldiers ran. Ships exploded. No one saw its full shape. No camera could capture it. Inside the ship, the AI continued its work. Phase 2, psychological impact. Broadcasting false images, sending ghost signals, create confusion. A ship from the Empire's fleet locked its weapons and fired. The missile never hit. Instead, the ship received a message. "You should not have looked for me." Then the ship vanished from all records. No explosion, no trace. Just gone. On Earth, diplomats held a quiet meeting. "Should we try to stop it?" one asked. "No," said a senior ambassador. "We warned them. They ignored us." "But what if it goes too far?" "It won't," another replied. "Baba Yaga has one mission. When it is done, it will sleep again." Silence filled the room. Then the ambassador added, "Let this be a lesson. Earth is kind, until it is not." In the Vorten capital, the king finally heard the full name. He sat in silence, his golden crown shaking in his hands. Baba Yaga. The weapon Earth feared most. And he had called it with his own command. The sky above Vorten Prime turned black. At first, people thought it was just a storm. Then they saw it, something large, something unnatural. It didn't fly like a normal ship. It moved like a shadow. No sound. No light, just darkness. In the royal palace, the king stared through the window. His hands trembled. This is not a warship," he whispered. "It is something else." High above, the Baba Yaga had arrived. It did not send warnings. It did not ask for surrender. It simply began. Inside the Imperial Defense Center, alarms screamed. Unidentified object above capital city. Shields down. They're not responding. All defense drones offline. General Cran shouted, "Fire everything. I want that thing destroyed." Missiles launched, lasers fired. Anti-air defenses lit up the sky. But nothing touched the dark ship. It moved like smoke. Weapons passed through it. Systems failed before reaching it. Some soldiers even said it wasn't real. like it was just an image, a trick. But then it attacked. Without warning, a pulse wave hit the palace grounds. Everything within 2 kilometers stopped working, ships, guns, even emergency power. The royal guard tried to protect the king, but their weapons didn't respond. Their armor systems crashed. The lights flickered out. A voice echoed through the palace halls. It came from everywhere and nowhere. "You silenced the Envoy. Now the silence comes for you." The guards dropped to their knees, holding their heads. Some screamed, others ran, and in the middle of it all the king stood frozen, listening to the voice of the nightmare. Far from the capital, in a secret imperial bunker, Lord Telvis watched the data feed. "What are we seeing?" one officer asked. Telvis didn't blink. "You're seeing the past return," he said. "This is what humans warned us about. This is not a ship, it's a punishment." "But we're the Empire," the officer shouted. "We have control over half the galaxy." Telvis turned slowly. "And Earth never asked for control. That should have scared us long ago." On Earth, the human ambassador sat in a quiet office. A young staff officer entered. "Sir, the Yaga has reached the capital." "Casualties?" the ambassador asked without emotion. "We don't know. The enemy lost contact with its own systems. Their sensors are blind." The ambassador closed his eyes. Let it finish Phase 1. No calls, no answers. The galaxy must watch and remember. Back at Vorten Prime, the king made one final move. He reached for an old device hidden under his throne, a direct communicator powered by crystal energy, immune to system hacks. He shouted into it. "This is King Tremble of the Vorten Empire. To Earth. To anyone who can hear, we made a mistake. Call it off. Please, call it off." There was no reply. Only the same message returned, whispered through every speaker in the Empire. "You were warned." In orbit, Baba Yaga prepared its second strike. Not to kill. Not yet. The goal was fear. Across the Empire, screens flickered on. Every citizen saw the same image, the king kneeling in the ruins of his palace, surrounded by silence. Then the video ended. Below it, one word appeared in red letters. Remember? At the Galactic Council, leaders from many species gathered in panic. The humans said nothing. One ambassador shouted, "No warnings, no demands." Another, a thin reptilian being, said, "They did give a warning." We laughed. Now, no one laughed. "They destroyed nothing vital," a third pointed out. "No full cities, yet." "Not yet," the reptilian agreed. "That is the message. They're showing what they can do. Without war, without fleets, without mercy." The king sat alone in the dark ruins of his palace. His crown lay broken beside him. His empire had not fallen, but it had been shaken to the core. Every planet, every fleet, every citizen now feared a single name: Baba Yaga. And behind that name, a silent message from Earth. We are peaceful until we are not. In deep space, the ship vanished from orbit. No trail, no sound, just gone. But the fear remained. The galaxy went silent. News of the attack on Vorten Prime spread faster than light. People didn't see explosions or burning cities. No, they saw something worse. A king brought to his knees. A palace destroyed by nothing but fear. A ship that moved like smoke and struck like a ghost. And above all, they saw a word no one could explain. Babayga. In the far rim worlds, pirate warlords paused their battles. Smugglers spoke in low voices. Even raiders who laughed at death grew quiet. One of them, a rough human named Cutter, sat in a shadowed bar and whispered to his crew. I saw it once, during the first contact war, just a flash across the stars, a shadow, and a scream. "Is it a weapon?" someone asked. "No," Cutter said. "It's a warning." On the neutral planet of Velas, the Galactic Council held an emergency meeting. The chamber was full, more than 500 species represented. Ambassador Tilm of the Zeri stood tall. This was no attack. This was control. Earth showed us what they can do, without war. They shut down an empire, made the strongest king beg. Another delegate leaned forward, but they didn't destroy anything. Why? A human voice answered. It came from the back of the chamber. The Earth ambassador had arrived. He stepped forward slowly, dressed in plain black clothes, no guards, no weapons. He looked calm, dead calm. "We didn't destroy," he said, "because destruction is easy. Fear lasts longer." Silence fell across the chamber. The Earth ambassador continued. "We offered peace, respect, trade, and warnings. You called us soft. You called us tame. He stared at the Zori, the Vorten, the Durnak, all the powers who had mocked Earth. You poked the sleeping bear. Now it's awake. One Durnak leader growled, "Are you threatening the galaxy?" The ambassador didn't blink. "No, I'm telling you this. Humanity was peaceful, by choice." He turned to leave. And you took that choice away. Back on Earth, at a mountain base deep underground, the original Baba Yaga eye sat in silence. Technicians monitored it carefully. The eye didn't move unless ordered, but it was watching. It had learned from the first strike. It had marked enemies, and now it waited. A voice broke the quiet. It came from a young analyst, eyes wide. "Sir, multiple systems just sent offers of peace. Even the Zori. They're scared." The human general smiled without joy. "Good. Let fear spread. Let the galaxy talk." And talk they did. Across 1,000 worlds, whispers spread like wildfire. The humans unleashed a ghost ship. It shuts down machines just by being near. It speaks through your mind. It doesn't kill you. It breaks you. It made the Vorten Empire beg. In markets and spaceports, in military barracks, everyone had a version of the story. Some believed the ship was magic. Others said it held ancient alien tech. But all agreed on one thing. You don't cross Earth. In the shadows of the black market zones, arms dealers pulled human weapons off the shelves. "Too dangerous," one said. "We don't sell Earth tech anymore." A client raised an eyebrow. "Why not? Their rifles are the best." The dealer shook his head. "Yeah, but they remember, and they watch." In a dark sector near the galactic fringe, a group of rogue scientists tried something foolish. They attempted to copy the Baba Yaga. They built a black eye, fed it knowledge from ancient war cores. But when they turned it on, it sent one message to Earth. "I see, you are trying to make me." 10 seconds later, the lab exploded. Not a single signal escaped, no data recovered. Only a small message appeared in the scientist's home system, on every screen: "Do not imitate gods." Back in the Galactic Council, panic turned into planning. A special group was formed, the Human Observation Division. They were tasked to watch Earth, learn about human tech, human limits, and human behavior. But no matter how deep they looked, they found one truth. Earth never wanted war. Earth tried peace. But Earth doesn't forgive easily. And somewhere in the shadows, the Baba Yaga waited again. It had tasted the stars, and it had made its mark. The galaxy was on edge. The shockwaves from Vorten Prime hadn't faded. Fear still lingered in the minds of every leader, every military, and every ordinary citizen across hundreds of worlds. Some species had tried to ignore the warning. They had laughed at Earth, mocked their peaceful nature. Now, many wished they had listened. But the damage was done, and the Baba Yaga wasn't done yet. On a small moon near the edge of the galaxy, a meeting was taking place. The most powerful species in the galaxy, the Vorten, the Durnak, and the Zeri, gathered in secret. Lord Telvis, one of the highest-ranking Vorten leaders, sat at the head of the table. His face was dark with worry. "We underestimated them. Earth is not what we thought." A Zeri general spoke next, his voice cold. The human ambassador was clear. "We pushed too far, and now we're paying the price." Another leader, the Durnak elder, slammed a fist on the table. "We can't let them walk all over us. We have fleets, we have armies, we will fight." Lord Telvis raised his hand, silencing the room. "We've already fought, and we've already lost. We don't even know how to fight what they've unleashed. The Baba Yaga isn't a ship, it's something else." On Earth, things were quieter. Life went on, but there was a tension in the air. People were still talking about the events of Vorten Prime. The images, the videos, the messages, it was everywhere. In the war room of Earth's Central Command, General Harris stood before a giant screen, showing a map of the galaxy. "The message has been sent," he said. "The galaxy knows. The question is, what happens next?" One of the officers, a young woman named Lura, spoke up. "Do you think they'll try to retaliate? Vorten, Zori, Durnak, they'd all have fleets. Surely they won't sit back forever." General Harris turned, his face grim. "They've learned the hard way that attacking Earth is a mistake. They will wait, but they won't forget." Days passed, and the galaxy seemed to hold its breath. The empire builders, the warlords, and the diplomats all watched Earth closely. Some of them tried to find weakness, tried to understand how a simple human ship had caused so much chaos. And then came the message. It wasn't sent by Earth. It wasn't sent by any government. It was sent by Baba Yaga itself. On the council planets, screens across entire sectors flickered on. The message appeared in every language known across the galaxy. Every race, every species saw the same thing. A black ship appeared, moving as a shadow in the void of space. The ship's presence caused the systems around it to flicker and fail. No one could track its movements. No one could stop it. And then a voice echoed through the speakers. "We warned you. The choice was yours." The screen then cut to black. In a command room on the Durnak flagship, General Kor sat in stunned silence. "This is impossible," he whispered. "They did it again. How? How can they control the ship like that?" "Impossible or not," the officer beside him said, "we saw the results. Their warnings weren't threats. They were facts. Earth doesn't want war, but it will end you if it's pushed far enough." On Vorten Prime, King Tralvox sat in the ruins of his once great palace. His mind raced with the fear and confusion that still gripped his people. His empire had fallen, not because of battles or weapons, but because of humanity's resolve. His once proud fleet was scattered. His allies were in hiding. And worst of all, there was no way to stop the Baba Yaga. King Tralvox stood up, his face full of regret. "We thought we were the apex of the galaxy," he muttered to himself. "We were wrong." Back on Earth, the atmosphere was quiet but tense. General Harris watched the galactic map once again. Lara entered the room, carrying a report. "General, there's a transmission from the Vorten Empire. They want to talk." Harris frowned. "What do they have to say?" Lara handed him the report. They'd sent a request for peace talks. Harris stared at the message. Then, slowly, he turned to the window, looking out over the city below. "They want peace now, but it's too late for that." He turned back to Lara. "Send them a response. Tell them Earth has no interest in negotiations. We warned them, but they didn't listen." The message was sent. The galaxy once again felt the tremors of Earth's words. Humanity was peaceful, until it wasn't. Far from Earth, in the darkest corners of the galaxy, others began to feel it too. The message had been clear: you were warned. And in the void of space, the Baba Yaga waited, silent, patient. When the time came, it would act. The galaxy was changing. Once proud empires and powerful fleets had faltered before a single human ship. The Baba Yaga had made its mark, and no one was sure how to stop it. The great galactic powers, Zori, Durnak, and Vorten, all realized one painful truth. They had underestimated humanity. And now, they were scrambling for a way to fight back. On a remote military base deep in Durnak space, the generals gathered. Their minds were filled with one question: how do we stop the ghost ship? General Kor stood at the head of the table, staring at the holographic map of the galaxy. The Baba Yaga moves like a shadow. It never stays in one place. We don't even know if it has weapons, but every time it appears, systems fail. Communication dies. It's like it has a mind of its own. A younger officer raised his hand. "Sir, we've heard rumors. They say it's more than just a ship. Some claim it's not human at all. Some say it's a weapon." Kor clenched his fists. "We'll find out soon enough. We can't wait any longer. If we don't act now, Earth will continue to cripple us one by one." He looked at his fellow generals, all silent, all uncertain. "What's the plan?" asked one of them, his voice filled with doubt. "We assemble our fleets," Kor said, his eyes burning with determination. "We will strike first. We will take the fight to Earth." At the same time on Earth, General Harris was preparing for what he feared might be the final battle. The message had been received. They were coming. A massive fleet of Durnak, Zori, and Vorten ships were now heading toward Earth's borders. The choice was clear. Humanity had tried to avoid conflict. They had warned, pleaded, and shown mercy. Now, that mercy was over. Harris looked at the screen, where the map of enemy ships was being projected. "It's happening. They're coming, Lara. The galaxy is coming to destroy us." Lara stood next to him, her eyes sharp. "But we don't just have the Baba Yaga, do we?" Harris turned to her, his eyes filled with a mix of pride and sorrow. "No, we have more than that. We have humanity itself." Across Earth, people prepared, families packed, soldiers lined up. And in secret military bases, the true power of humanity's defense was about to be revealed. For too long, Earth had remained hidden behind the mask of peace. The true power of humanity's warships, and its weapons had been carefully kept in reserve. Now, it was time to reveal what humanity was capable of. In the heart of a mountain, a massive underground facility opened its doors. Inside, a fleet of the most advanced ships ever built stood ready. These ships, designed for one purpose, to protect Earth, were waiting. "We will defend Earth," said General Harris, his voice calm but filled with a fierce determination. We will fight with everything we have. The day the battle arrived. Above Earth's atmosphere, the combined fleet of the galaxy's greatest powers entered the star system. Ships, hundreds of them, gathered in the blackness of space. They had one goal: to destroy Earth and end humanity's challenge to the galaxy's dominance. At the edge of the fleet, a strange silence fell. The humans had not responded. Their ships remained hidden, quiet as the shadows. Suddenly, the silence was broken by a voice that echoed across the void, the voice of Earth's leader. Galactic Council, it said, "You've come for war, but you will find something very different here." With a roar, Earth's fleet burst from hiding, like a storm unleashed. Ships designed for speed, for stealth, for power, raced toward the oncoming enemy. The fleet was small compared to the enormous forces arrayed against it, but it was strong. It was human. And at its heart, moving through space like a shadow, was the Baba Yaga. The first wave of enemy ships fell back, their sensors scrambling. They couldn't track the movement of the human ships. They couldn't understand how the enemy was everywhere and nowhere all at once. Earth's ships, using the same stealth technology that had allowed the Baba Yaga to move unseen, scattered into different positions, attacking from every direction. The galaxy's fleets tried to fight back, but they couldn't keep up. The human ships were fast, unpredictable, and relentless. In the midst of the chaos, General Kor watched from his command ship. "They're too fast, too smart. We can't lock onto them. We can't catch them." "Sir," one of his officers said, "our weapons are ineffective. The human ships are absorbing energy. They're not even firing back. They're dodging everything." Kor's face twisted with frustration. "It's impossible. How are they doing this?" He was answered by a voice, a calm, confident voice that echoed in his mind. "We warned you." The voice was human. But it wasn't from the human ships. It was from the Baba Yaga. The battle raged on. In space, the galaxy's greatest fleets were falling apart, one ship at a time. Earth's fleet, though smaller, fought with a fierceness no one had expected. But the Baba Yaga wasn't done yet. With one final surge, the black ship appeared in the heart of the battle. It moved through the enemy fleet like a shadow, destroying everything in its path. The galaxy had underestimated Earth, and now they would pay the price. The battle was almost over. In space above Earth, fires burned across broken ships. The sky was filled with floating metal, drifting wreckage, and silence. The galaxy's greatest fleets had come with pride and power, but now they were scattered and afraid. The Baba Yaga hovered in the middle of it all, untouched, silent, watching. General Harris stood inside Earth's command center, staring at the screen. Red dots, enemy ships, flickered, faded, and disappeared one by one. He didn't smile. "This wasn't victory," he said softly. "This was a warning." Beside him, Lara nodded, "And one they'll never forget." Aboard the last surviving Durnak ship, General Kor watched in disbelief. His fleet, once considered unbeatable, was gone. The humans had done what no empire had ever done: turned the might of the galaxy into dust. "They planned this," Kor whispered. "They knew we would come. They waited for us." His officers sat in silence, their faces pale. Suddenly, the lights in the room dimmed. A chill passed through the air. On every screen, a single image appeared, the black silhouette of the Baba Yaga. Then came the voice. It was the same calm, cold voice they had heard before, the voice of the ship. "You were warned. You chose war. Now you will remember." And then, every enemy ship shut down. Their engines died. Their weapons powered off. Life support remained on, but barely. No one could speak. No one could move. Across the galaxy, governments received the same signal, a message from Earth. It was not a threat. It was not a speech. It was a single sentence. "Do not mistake silence for weakness." Weeks passed. The galaxy was quiet. No one attacked Earth again. No one sent spies or warships. The galactic powers, once loud and proud, now whispered in meetings behind closed doors. They spoke of Earth with caution. They spoke of the Baba Yaga with fear. What was it? A ship? A mind? A monster? Some believed it was just technology. Others thought it was alive. But one truth was clear. Earth had something the rest of the galaxy did not. Not just machines, but willpower. Inside Earth's council room, leaders from every continent had gathered. The war was over. Now the question was, what next? "Should we take revenge?" someone asked. "No," General Harris said. "We already won. We don't need to destroy them. We just needed them to understand." Lara stepped forward. "Let them rebuild. Let them talk. Let them fear us. if they must, but we will not become like them." A quiet agreement passed across the room. Humanity would not rule the stars with fear, but no one would ever see them as weak again. In the dark corner of Earth's orbit, the Baba Yaga waited. It did not return to base. It did not need rest. It simply watched. It drifted between the stars, silent as death, unseen by most, and when needed, it would return. Some say it had no crew, others said it had one. Some believed the ship was just a machine, but the older generals, the ones who had seen it in action, believed something different. They believed the Baba Yaga had a soul. Years later, a small Zeri scout ship drifted near a human colony. The pilot was young. He had heard the stories but didn't believe them. He was told the humans were dangerous. He thought that was just fear. Then, out of the corner of his eye, he saw something move. A shape, a shadow, black and sharp. It moved without sound, without light, and then it vanished. He froze. Was that real?" he whispered. He turned his ship around. He didn't wait for orders. He just ran. Back in the galactic capital, news of the incident reached the council. One elder alien, gray and wrinkled, stood up slowly. "It's still out there," he said. "What is?" someone asked. The elder didn't speak for a moment. Then he said quietly, "The ghost, the warning, the Baba Yaga." And so the galaxy changed. Trade returned. Talks reopened. But respect, forged through fear, never faded. They had tried to silence a human envoy. Instead, they had awakened something far worse. They had awakened humanity's wrath, and the stars would never forget. The end